guys, how's it going? MasterBucks here, and welcome to my FIFA 19 Best Career Mode Teams video today. I'm going to be going through a list of teams that I have personally got pinned down as some of the best teams to do career modes with in FIFA 19, and teams that you may well probably see me do in the future, maybe from outside of the Premier League, and we're going to be covering teams from well outside, as you can see, starting off here with a brand new team actually from the Chinese League in Beijing. Only a 3-star team. The Chinese League has now been added in, and they are one of the richest teams in the Champions League, or in the Chinese Super League. And this team as well, Guangzhou Evergrande, is also the second richest, or up there with one of the top 2 richest clubs in China. So even though there is pretty much a ceiling on how far you can go with the Chinese League, and really how much you can do with the Chinese League, if you're up for it, if you want to give it a crack, you may as well, and see if you can bring in some absolute superstar players with the amount of budget that you have. That won't be diminishing either. And now, as we do move over into England, we're going to take a look at a couple of Premier League teams, and the first team that I think is going to be a great one to do will be Fulham, of course, recently promoted, and the fact that they have spent over £100 million already on transfers means they're not just a recently promoted side, they're also, of course, a legit threat of doing damage in the Premier League this season. They've got their stadium finally added in as well, Craven Cottage, so you can be playing in a brand new stadium as well. Plus, you'll be playing with Mitro, Sessegnon, and a couple of other nice up-and-coming players too. And the other team, also recently promoted, also with a pretty decent budget, it's also Wolves as well. And again, another team that's invested very heavily, made sure that they are prepared for life in the Premier League, and their new stadium as well, the Molineux. You get to play in that one. It's another very famous, very iconic stadium. I'm still a little bit sick too, by the way. I have been sick ever since I started recording videos. It has not gone away. How do you think I feel about this? The timing is just ridiculous. But yeah, Wolves and Fulham are 2 very good Premier League teams, but they're not the only English teams that I'm thinking would be pretty good this year. Yes, Sunderland is on this list. I know, shit club, shit team, but they're actually going to be quite decent to do a career mode with. I mean, come on. Yes, I'm a Newcastle fan. A lot of you would know that. But it's a joke that Sunderland's in League One. We've got to be honest, okay? It's a very funny joke. Hopefully the joke gets even funnier, but they should not be in League One. They're a team that has actually got their stadium in the game as well. So a League One side with their stadium in the game and with player faces and all that. It's a good story in real life if you bring them back up to the Prem, where they, let's be honest, probably belong, or at least Championship, whatever. But I think that's an absolute clear choice right there. Lyon as well. I've also gone with 4 teams in France, and maybe in a couple of other of the top 5 leagues. Teams that maybe are on the fringe of maybe potentially winning titles in otherwise leagues that are quite heavily dominated by one club. For example, with France, PSG, and maybe Lyon, or potentially even Marseille, could be one of the teams that you might maybe be able to take over, build up, and get them to a point where they can finally actually challenge the big boys in their league, like, for example, PSG. And then, who knows, maybe even become the new dominant force in the league, try to take on the Champions League and the UEFA competitions as well. So yeah, they're the 2 teams I've got pinned down in France, although there are some others, to be completely honest with you. But now we'll move over into another top 5 league, and this one is going to be Germany. Now, the team I've got pinned down for this one, again, pretty similar story and a pretty similar approach that I'm going with here, of course, is going to be RB Leipzig. I think they're also another team that's on the fringe. Of course, they're a team that's been coming up the leagues and got promotion after promotion for quite a while now. They've still got a pretty good side, but not an absolute star team. It's only 4 stars, and they've got some nice young players, as of course they always do. And RB Leipzig, you can always trust on them to be a pretty good side. Another one too is Schalke. I know that these guys are in the Champions League as well, so you can play in that competition if you'd like to. They've got their stadium in the game, one of the best stadiums, I think, in the world. Even though it's not one of the higher capacities, the Valentis Arena, they're unfortunately, I don't think their tunnel, their walkthrough is actually in the game. It sucks because I wish it did. It's one of the coolest in the stadium. And again, 4.5-star team. They're getting pretty close to maybe potentially challenging Bayern as well. In real life, I don't know, but in career mode, could potentially happen. But still, now moving over into Italy. This is one that I think surely a lot of us have got to do. It's going to be Parma. Back in Serie A, how about it? I think this would be a great story to get this team, Parma, that won the Europa League, had a really, really good run way back in the day, like 20-something years ago, went through a real tough time, back up to the big time, and now I think, that's going to be one of the better, maybe potential road to glories in FIFA 19 this year for sure, and they're probably going to be another very good Italian team to do one with. Now we move over into Portugal, and I've only got the one team here, but there's a bit of a story behind this one, and this is going to be Sporting Lisbon. Now, for those of you that have probably heard the story, but maybe want a refresher or somehow missed it completely, Sporting Lisbon had about 7 players terminate their contracts after a couple of ultras. Their own fans attacked their ground during a training session, attacked players, staff, so they have been gutted with players. They've still managed to get themselves to about a 4.5-star rating, so they've been able to put together or keep a relatively decent side, but they have been gutted and lost some huge players, like, for example, Rui Patricio, Willem Carvalho, Gelson Martinez, Bruno Fernandes, and a bunch of other ones as well, Bas Dost, like a bunch of players left. So if you want to rebuild that team, that's probably a good one as well. Sevilla FC, going back to what I was talking about with Olympique Lyon and Olympique Marseille, 2 teams that have also got some pretty good stadiums in the game. I was thinking with Spain, you've got the top 3 of Atletico Madrid, who's maybe just on the fringe of winning the league compared to, say, Real Madrid and Barca every year. So Sevilla might be a good one, and then also Valencia might be a good one. They've both got their stadiums in the game, well resourced, very capable of potentially taking it to the big boys if you maybe have a couple of seasons under your belt with them. And on top of that as well, Serie A, or should I say La Liga, recently got its licensing package, its full license. A lot of teams in League One or Liga, oh my God, in La Liga now have their stadiums in the game too. But now we move on to 2 teams outside the spectrum of things, but this one I was really keen on putting in there, even though maybe not a lot of people are very excited to do an MLS career mode. Trust me, Atlanta United have the best stadium, or one of the coolest stadiums in the game. Atlanta United's bossing it in MLS right now, so they are quite a power in MLS already, but just off the back of their stadium alone and their cool list of players, like this Mercedes-Benz Stadium is one of the most awesome, I think, in the game. And then, of course, you've got LAFC, a brand new team. Their stadium hasn't been put into the game just yet, but hopefully maybe one day it will. And LAFC, again, owned by Will Ferrell, and just another real big up-and-coming club. They've got 2 of the sickest kits in the game with the YouTube TV sponsorship. I really need to cop that, but yeah, I just thought if you're looking at changing things up, maybe doing an MLS career mode, those would be my 2 picks as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. They are some of the best teams I could come up with to potentially do a career mode in FIFA 19 with this year. But there you have it, guys. Those are some of the top teams I have got pinned down to do a career mode with in FIFA 19 this year. Let me know if there's any teams that you think I've missed, or any teams that you personally are looking forward to doing a FIFA 19 career mode with. But until the next one, guys, my name's MasterBucks. Again, don't forget to subscribe if you have not already to the channel. We have got still plenty more career mode videos for FIFA 19 coming out before the game's release. And yeah, till the next one, my name is MasterBucks. Have a good one.